At the beginning of the play, Priestley uses stage directions to present Eric as not fully mature. He is half shy, half assertive. The adjective shy connotes nervousness and a lack of confidence, and this contrasts with assertive, which implies confidence and dominance. Priestley's use of contrasting adjectives therefore creates a sense of confusion, implying perhaps that he is a secretive person. From the beginning of the play, it's clear that Priestley wants the audience to view Eric negatively in order to show that the capitalist patriarchal society is not trustworthy. This way, he encourages the audience to reject the capitalist ideas that Eric appears to be representing. There is hope, however. Priestley repeats the word half to emphasize that Eric's character is not yet fully formed, which indicates that he might change. From the start of the play, Priestley associates Eric with alcohol when his sister Sheila accuses him of being squiffy. This contemporary slang, meaning slightly drunk, draws the attention of the audience to Sheila's use of informal language. It positions the Burling siblings as fashionable members of the younger generation who adapt their language to the times. This foreshadows both characters adapting their attitudes to social responsibility as the play unfolds and they become more sympathetic to the inspector's message. In addition, Priestley deliberately aligns Eric with alcohol to foreshadow the later revelations about his drunken behaviour on the night that he met Eva Smith. Eric's free and easy use of alcohol is also used to signify the double standard in society for men and women. We've got a video on Mrs. Burling for more on that topic. When Eric is interrogated by the inspector, the audience learns that he insisted on entering Eva's lodgings. He admits that because of alcohol, he was in that state when a chap easily turns nasty. Priestley's use of the determiner that is interesting because Eric appears to be appealing to a commonly shared belief that his listeners have been drunk and understand exactly what that state is. This shows his lack of responsibility for his actions and also suggests that he is using alcohol as an excuse for his later implied rape of Eva. The playwright develops this idea when Eric refers to himself in the third person with the phrase, a chap. The word chap, an informal word for a boy or a man, has positive connotations of friendliness. Eric's use of the third person also distances him from the implied rape. By using these words, Eric is positioning himself as a friendly young man who does not take responsibility for his behaviour, which is solely due to the effects of alcohol. Priestley presents us with Eric's perspective about Eva, so we do not know the exact details of whether she was a prostitute. If Eva was not working as a prostitute, she seemed to be living a life on the brink of prostitution. Prostitution and the word prostitute would not be used in the play. At that time, other plays had been censored for making references to prostitutes. In fact, one of Priestley's playwright friends, George Bernard Shaw, whom he references when Mr. Burling is naming people he does not agree with in Act 1, wrote a play called Mrs. Warren's Profession, which was about a woman who once was a madam of a brothel. The play was banned by the theatre censors, and its actors were even arrested during one performance. With Eric's next words, the audience understands he now takes responsibility and admits his guilt. Priestley uses short sentences and a hyphen to reveal Eric's distress. And that's when it happened, and I don't even remember, that's the hellish thing. His lack of detail about what happened suggests he can barely bring himself to admit what he's done. The sentence, and that's when it happened, implying rape, allows us to form our own conclusions about what happened that night. Priestley also presents Eric as an immature young man who does not have a close relationship with his father. He tells Mr. Burling that he is not the kind of father a chap could go to when he's in trouble. Again, by using the friendly word chap to describe himself, he's making excuses for his behaviour by positioning himself as a victim rather than accepting responsibility for his actions. At this point in the play, we see Eric's immaturity because he's providing short-term solutions by asking Eva to marry him and supporting her with stolen money, but he does not see the long-term consequences of his criminal behaviour. By the end of the play, Eric, like Sheila, has learned the lesson of collective social responsibility. The discussion about whether the inspector is real does not matter to Eric, who insists, we did her in all right. He deliberately uses the plural personal pronoun we to emphasise that it is not just his mother who is responsible for Eva's death, but all of them. This might symbolise Priestley's socialist view that we all have a collective responsibility for the welfare of Eva and other vulnerable members of society. Eric also states it's what happened to the girl and what we all did to her that matters. He's accepted his role in her downfall, and the inspector's socialist message of collective responsibility is more important than the identity of the inspector. Eric's language therefore echoes that of the inspector, the mouthpiece of Priestley. Throughout the play, Priestley has presented Eric as an immature young man with a drinking problem, an exploiter of Eva, and a thief. As Eric matures and accepts responsibility for his actions, he becomes receptive to the inspector's message that we are members of one body, we are responsible for each other. Everything I go through in this video series can be found in the second, updated edition of Mr. Bruff's Guide to an Inspector Calls, and you can pick up a copy through following the links in the description. If you found this video useful, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.